Hello students. Yesterday we were discussing the Gauss law of electrostatic, and in that section we have seen what is the Gauss law, where we can use it, and what we need if we want to apply it. So simple Gauss law is that the electric flux enclosed in any closed curve that is equal to the 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed by that surface. So here one more thing is common, that is first of all the charge distribution on any surface area that should be uniform, symmetric, and second thing is that always here that type of surface we need of which we can calculate the area easily. Simple or if we have certain indefinite size of loop, then in case we can draw some of the Gaussian surface, means hypothetical surface by ourselves, that can cover whole of the area of the surface that is given. Simple as I told you, whenever we will put any sheet or any closed loop or any surface inside any electric field, and that time the number of electric field lines that are passing through that surface area is known as electric flux, and that electric flux gives us the way to calculate the electric field if charge distribution is uniform here. So in that section we were discussing one application here. So first application that we were discussing, electric field due to infinitely long straight conducting wire. So in that case, suppose we have any infinitely long straight conducting wire on which positive charge is spread over this whole of the wire uniformly here. So suppose Q charge is spread over this wire. Now how can we apply Gauss law here to calculate the electric field due to this uniformly charged infinitely long conducting wire? So in that section, first the thing that we need here, that is Gaussian surface, means a closed surface that can enclose this wire. So to enclose this wire, as I told you, we have to see up to which range it is effective. So in both sides, this positive charge that is uniformly distributed here, that will be effective. Suppose up to this range in this way and this way, this is effective. Now just make this line in this way, and now just draw here a surface. So this surface, as you are seeing, this is a cylinder now we have drawn, and this cylinder enclosed this straight conducting wire completely, means now this is acting as the Gaussian surface, and as up to this point and up to this point this charge is effective, means this is whole of the region of this charge. So this means charge are spread over whole of this surface here. So this surface is now acting as the Gaussian surface. So we will use here this cylinder to calculate the electric flux, or after that we can calculate even electric field easily due to this long infinitely long conducting wire. So for that case here, in this case we will see there are three area that is enclosed by this cylinder. First area is this curved surface or a circular surface that you are seeing. Suppose I am giving it S1. This circular is S2, and one surface, as you are seeing, this is along the axis of the cylinder. So this whole of the area that is along the axis of the cylinder, that suppose I am taking it, this is the area that is whole of the, this is as the S3, this area is. Now we can draw the area vector. So as I told you, area vector is normal drawn to the planar area. So here this is the planar area. So if you will draw area vector here, so this area vector will be in this direction. This is ds2. This area vector is in this direction. This is ds1. And if we will draw area vector for this will be ds3. And now suppose obviously here you are seeing that positive charge are spread over this whole of the conducting wire, then these positive charge electric field lines, its direction will be in the outward direction, that we have discussed already. So if that will be in outward direction, suppose in this direction, it can be also in this direction. So suppose electric field direction is in the outward direction in this way. Now we have seen all the things that we need here. So let's use the Gauss theorem. So Gauss theorem states that the electric flux enclosed through any closed surface is equal to E dot ds, that is equal to 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed by this whole the surface, that is q by epsilon 0. Now we have to solve only these things. So this is what I just told you, this is the closed curve. Means here if we will start from this point, we will go here, go, and again if we will come here, then that is called the closed curve. So in this way, if we will start to divide whole of the area in three parts, S1, S2 and S3, then whole of the cylinder we can easily get by these areas. So we can write here S1 E dot ds1 plus S2 E dot ds2, and last this is S3 E dot ds3. So we have particularly three things, we can divide it easily in three parts. Now let's expand it. First this pi, this is equal to q by epsilon 0, this is equal to, here this is S1, and we can write E ds1 cos. Now let's see what is the angle between vector E and area vector ds1. So vector E is in this direction, area vector ds1 is in this direction. Clearly it is 90-degree angle. So if here we will write cos 90 degree plus, for second one, if we will expand S2, this is E ds2 into cos of, here this is the direction of ds2, and clearly it is also in the direction of perpendicular direction, means the angle between ds2 and E, that is 90 degree. So now let's just erase it. So this is cos 90 degree plus last one, this is S3. So again if we will expand it, this will be E ds3, and now let's see what is the angle between it. So ds3 is in the same direction as the electric field, so this will be equal to 0. This is cos 0. Now as the value of cos 90 is 0, so these two terms will be 0. So first two terms are now 0. Second term, in this cos 0 is 1, so here this will be 1. And as E is uniform value, constant value, we can take it as the outside. So this will be S3 d S3. Now we have to integrate only these things. Means if we will see whole of the surface area of this cylinder, then that is equal to integral of ds3. This is the total surface area of any cylinder. And we know that if suppose r is, small r is a radius of this circular section, and the length of the cylinder, that is small l, then the area of the cylinder is 2 pi r into l. So let's write directly here. This is pi is equal to q by epsilon 0, and this will be E into 2 pi r into l. This is the value of this portion. Now let's solve it and calculate the value of E. So after solution, this will be equal to q upon 2 pi epsilon 0 r into l. Now in place of q by l, as we have understood already the charge distribution for different cases. So if in this case we will see the charge is distributed in one direction, in one dimension only, means over the length it is distributed. So if whenever charge is distributed over the length, then we can call it linear charge density, and that linear charge density is defined by lambda is equal to q divided by l. Means over the length l, if q charge is distributed, then this is known as linear charge density. So here in place of q by l, we can denote it by the linear charge density. So this will be lambda upon 2 pi epsilon 0 r. So this is the final value of E for any infinitely long conducting wire in terms of this. And from here we can see that E is inversely proportional to r only here. Means there will be a linear decrement with distance in the electric field whenever we will go through any infinitely long conducting wire. Means when we start to move from this place to this place easily, we are going away from these things linearly, then in that case electric field will start to decrease linearly with the distance r. And it is also depending on linear charge density, means what is the value of charge distributed throughout the length there. First application of Gauss law is I think that is clear, and if you will see it very easily, we can calculate the electric field for any uniform charge distribution for any kind of surfaces here. Let's see more examples or more applications where we can calculate electric field by using Gauss law. So second case here that we can calculate electric field due to uniformly charged infinite sheet. Now suppose we have any sheet and we have to calculate electric field due to that infinitely charged sheet. So example, suppose this is the sheet that we have, and suppose positive charge are uniformly distributed over this sheet, means plus q charges are distributed over this sheet. Now how can we calculate the electric field at any point due to this sheet? So again we will use the Gauss law for this portion also. So by use or simple to use the Gauss law, first of all we have to draw again the Gaussian surface. So if you will see the Gaussian surface here in the perpendicular direction, then that is just like, if suppose this is our sheet, and if you will draw a surface that is enclosing the sole of the sheet, that is again a cylinder. So in this way you can draw two cylinders. If this is sheet, one cylinder in this side, one cylinder in this side, means in either of the side we can draw the cylinder here. So in this way, this is two cylinders. One is this and second is this. Means in this way, if any cylinder that is passing through it, means you can say simply that electric field lines are passing in form of cylinder through this such types of infinite sheet. I think that is now understood. So simply by, maybe it is clear, the direction of electric field is in this direction, means all the electric field are passing through the surface in this way here. So this is the direction of electric field is in. Now here also we have two surface. One is this one surface, means this side of the sheet and this side of the sheet. So suppose this side of the sheet is S1, this side of sheet is S2, and also suppose that the area of this portion or both portions are equal. Let's area is A here. Directly I have taken area is A. Now we can use the Gauss theorem. So according to Gauss theorem, this phi is equal to E dot ds. This is equal to q by epsilon 0 times. So as this flux that is equal to q by epsilon 0 by using Gauss law here, now we can expand this whole of the integral over this one part and two part, means S1 and S2. So in this case you can write here, this is integral of S1 E dot ds plus integral of S2, sorry here S2 E dot ds. This whole is equal to q by epsilon 0 times. Now we can solve it. If you will see direction of this electric field, and also one more thing, electric field can be in outward direction. It is not necessary that if this is our sheet, this is uniformly charged, then electric field will be in only in this side. In outward it can be also in this side. So here it means electric field can be this side also and this side also. And if you will see the direction of area vector in these cases, then in this case the direction of area vector ds1 will be in this direction, and in this case the direction of area vector ds2 is in this direction. I mean in the direction of field in both of the cases is the angle between this area vector. Suppose this is ds1, ds2 I have taken. This is equal, between that is equal to 0 here. So let's expand it now. So when we expand it, pi is equal to q by epsilon 0 times. And first case is for S1, this is E ds1 cos 0, and the value of cos 0 is obviously that is equal to 1, plus over the S2, this is E ds2. So these two values that we have. Now as E is uniform, we can take it outside, and if we will take it outside, this will be ds1 plus integral over ds2. Directly I have taken E as the common from both of the point. Now if we will integrate this whole of the surface ds1, then you will get area of this particular cylinder, and that area we have taken, that is equal to A. So directly in place of this whole integral we can write A, and also in the same way for the second side we have also taken the area as the same, as both side area will be same, so that will be also equal to A. So here total ds1 integral over ds1 integral over ds2 both are equal to A, means here A plus A, 2A will be total value. So after solution we will get 2EA. So as finally we have calculated this q by epsilon 0 is equal to QEA, and from here if you will calculate the value of electric field, so that is equal to Q upon 2 epsilon 0 A. Now in this case if you will see here, the charge distribution is along any surface, means in two dimension. So again in the case of charge distribution where we have studied, we have seen one charge density, that is surface charge density, and that surface charge density represent the charge per unit area, means how much charge is contained in unit area in that sheet or two-dimensional sheet that is given to us, two-dimensional surface that is given to us. So that is equal to Q by A. So in this case you can write in place of Q by A the sigma. So if sigma is charge density of this sheet, then electric field is given by sigma upon 2 epsilon 0. Means this kind of electric field for any uniformly charged infinite sheet, that does not depend on the distance at which we are measuring the electric field. It is only depending on the condition or charge distribution on that sheet. Sorry. Greater will be the charge distribution, greater will be the electric field due to this uniformly charged sheet here. So by using Gauss law, easily we can calculate what will be the value of electric field due to this uniformly charged sheet in this case. So this is our second application of Gauss law. Now let's see the third application of Gauss law, that is Gauss law due to any spherical cell. So in the case of spherical cell, if you will see cell is of such type of device, this is one thing is here and this is just like. So this is any spherical cell we have. So due to this spherical cell, what will be the electric field? So here three conditions can be applicable in this case. First, if we are calculating electric field outside this spherical cell, means at outside any point. Second thing, if we are calculating electric field when we put any other charge or we are seeing at the distance that is at the surface of this spherical cell. And third thing, inside the spherical cell. So there are three possibilities for this case. What will be the electric field outside the spherical cell, inside the spherical cell, and at the surface of the sphere. So in this case, this is our charge spherical cell that we have just taken. So this is charge, suppose Q charges is sprayed over this spherical cell here, and the radius of this spherical cell is equal to capital R. So this is a very thin spherical cell. So we can see that the radius of outer surface that is equal to R here. Now first condition, let's see that, means we have to calculate electric field at outside the cell. So in the case of outside, let's see at any point P, we have to calculate electric field due to this spherical cell. So first the thing that we need to apply the Gauss law, that is the Gaussian surface. So here obviously we have a sphere, we have any point, when we can draw the sphere that will cover whole of this spherical cell, and that will serve as the Gaussian surface. So here if by taking P or suppose this is the distance of this center O to P, that is equal to small r. So by taking small r as a radius, if you will draw a sphere, that will serve as the Gaussian surface in this case. So a Gaussian surface we can draw. So this is the Gaussian surface that we have, and this serve as the, suppose this is a sphere, the radius is small r. Now this, at this point we have to calculate the electric field. So simply we can see or we can apply the Gauss law of electrostatic in this case also. So according to the Gauss law of electrostatic, one more thing here, as it is a spherical cell, it is given, to again it is two-dimensional thing. So we will have some of the surface charge density. So if you have to see what will be the surface charge density that is distributed over per unit area of the cell, so that is given by sigma is equal to Q upon A, here charge per unit area, and area of a spherical cell, that is equal to 4 pi r square. So here as the radius of a spherical cell, this is very thin, you can take its radius is equal to r. So this is equal to sigma upon sigma is equal to Q upon 4 pi r square. This is the charge density that is enclosed or that is distributed over this spherical cell that is given to us. Next case, at P point, if we have to calculate electric field, so according to Gauss law, I is equal to integral over ds, this is equal to Q upon epsilon 0. Now if we will just solve it, and now we will see the direction of electric field. So again direction of electric field will be in the outward direction as we have taken positive charge. One more thing, if you are confused, if we will take negative, then what will be the direction? Then direction will be inside only, but the normal component will be as it is same. So here at any point if you will draw normal, so that normal will represent the direction of electric field, like in this way. This is also the direction of electric field, this is also, this electric field will be radially outward, and in this way number of places, means at any point we can calculate electric field that all points are at the same distance as we have drawn a spherical surface or a sphere. So simple, at any point we can take it. So this is the direction of this electric field E. Also if you will see the direction of area vector here, so direction of area vector is also normal to this planar. So if you will draw normal, so this will be the direction of area, means in the same direction as the electric field here. So the angle between electric field and area vector, that will be 0. So if you will explain it, so this will be equal to E ds. So that is equal to now Q upon epsilon 0. And if we will take E as the outside, as it is uniform. So for uniform electric field we have taken it outside, and if you will now solve this integral ds, then this integral ds, that is representing whole area enclosed in that Gaussian surface. So the surface area of a sphere, that is 4 pi r square, and here radius of this Gaussian surface is small r. So for this case this ds, its value will be equal to 4 pi r square. This is equal to Q upon epsilon 0. So this is equal to E upon Q upon epsilon 0, or simple 4 pi epsilon 0 small r square. So this is the value of electric field for r greater than the radius of the spherical cell, means at any point outside the sphere. Second case, if we are taking any point that is at the surface of the spherical cell. So in that case, for at the surface of the spherical cell, we will again again do the same procedure. Means in this case now, this spherical cell will serve as the Gaussian surface, because at the surface we suppose at any point P we have taken. So obviously this sphere will serve as the Gaussian surface. No need to draw any hypothetical sphere here. And in this way, if you will see the direction of electric field, that is outward, and also the direction of area vector, that is also in outward direction. So these two are on outward, means the angle between these two is equal to 0 now. So let's see the Gauss law of electricity, that is E dot ds. This is equal to Q by epsilon 0 times, and also if you will expand it, this will be equal to again the same thing that we have done before. And now if you will see the area enclosed by this Gaussian surface, so this will be equal to 4 pi r square, again the area, surface area of a sphere, and here now r is equal to capital R. So we can write 4 pi r square, that is Q by epsilon 0, and let solve it. E is equal to Q upon 4 pi epsilon 0 r square. And also as I told you, the surface charge density on this spherical cell that we have calculated, that is equal to Q upon this 4 pi r square. This in the place of Q upon 4 pi r square we can write sigma. So this will be finally sigma by epsilon 0. So for any point that is at the surface of the spherical cell, electric field is equal to sigma upon epsilon 0. Means again it will depend only on the surface charge density that is enclosed by that surface, not any distance, means not depending not on the point that we are taking from the center. Now let's see the third condition, that is what will be the electric field for the point enclosed inside any spherical cell. So next now for the point when we are calculating electric field due to this spherical cell inside this cell. So for that is suppose any point that is P we are taking at this point inside the cell. So if we will take any point inside the cell and we have to calculate electric field due to this spherical cell. So again we have to do the same thing. We will draw a Gaussian surface, means if suppose distance of this point from the center, that is a small r, and we have taken r as the radius and we have drawn a sphere. So that sphere will serve as the Gaussian surface here. Now if you will see, so in this Gaussian surface as no charges are contained, then when we will write phi is equal to this E dot ds is equal to Q by epsilon 0. So due to no charge enclosed in Gaussian surface, Q is equal to 0. So this will be equal to 0. And if you will solve it, then this will be E into this whole integral of ds. This is equal to 0. Or in another term, you can write as this ds cannot be 0, because if we have any spherical surface, then there will be, yes. So as here ds will not be 0, because this is the area enclosed by this Gaussian surface, and that cannot be 0. So the possibility for the quantity that is 0, obviously that is electric field. So electric field inside any spherical cell, that is equal to 0. So basically 3 points that we have discussed in the case of a spherical cell, that we can totally discuss. We can calculate the electric field by using Gauss law of electrostatic easily. Means here only one problem we have, that is how can we draw the Gaussian surface. If you have that knowledge, then after that you will be able to understand that how to solve it, because you have to use only formula after that. So that is the only theory that you have to know, and also you have to keep the knowledge of the direction of field. Means in positive charge in which direction, negative charge in which direction, where will be the direction of area vector, means what will be the angle between area vector and electric field. So basic 3 factors that we have cleared now. Now if we have to suppose draw a characteristic, or we have to show the variation of electric field in the case of a spherical cell, then we can show it by some graph. Suppose on this graph we have taken electric field on this, and this is the distance r that we have taken. So this is our spherical cell. Suppose this is spherical cell, this is its center, this is the radius of a spherical cell, that is we have taken capital R. Now at inside, as electric field is 0, that we have calculated, this graph is like this, and at the surface suddenly the electric field that we are getting, that is equal to sigma upon epsilon 0. So that is the maximum value that we are getting in this case. So that maximum value is equal to this value at R is equal to R. This is sigma upon epsilon 0. After that, you have seen that for the outside point, E is inversely proportional to R square. Means because at this point it is not dependent on the distance, so it will be maximum point, but after that it will start to dependent on the distance. So when the distance will increase, the electric field will decrease parabolically. So this is in this way. So this is the graph or variation for the electric field in the case of spherical cell. Means inside this is 0, at the surface it is maximum, and after that it is decreasing with the concept I is inversely proportional to R square. So I think student, whatever we have discussed on how can we apply the Gauss law of electrostatic in so many cases to calculate electric field, that is clear. So in next class we will see how to prove Coulomb's law with the help of Gauss law, and after that this chapter is now end, and we will discuss the numerical problem or conceptual problem based on it. So for today, let's end the class here.